wanted is that he might not give her a pardon, but have her extradited to Israel to complete the rest of her sentence, and then have Israel quietly give her a pardon when she arrives here as a prisoner. That might save Russia's honor and keep everyone happy.
We have Israeli President Reuven speaking at this memorial right now.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his wife, Mayor of Jerusalem, Moshe Leon, and his wife, the Governor of St. Petersburg, ministers, members of Knesset, ambassadors, partners in the construction of this memorial, and dear veterans, beloved veterans, dear families, honored guests, all of you. Mr. President, one of the most emotional moments I remember was when I stood as the official representative of the State of Israel facing the memorial for victims of the blockade of St. Petersburg, the siege that lasted 900 days. 900 days in which the city of Leningrad was under siege. 900 days in which the city was under attack, was assaulted and cut off and starved and pummeled by the brutal Nazi enemy and its accomplices. 900 days in which millions of children met their deaths. Children, children, women, old people and soldiers who starved to death, froze to death, and sacrificed their lives for their city and homeland. War till the last drop of blood, till the last slice of bread, until their final energies. A struggle at the end of which the residents of Leningrad saw how light championed the darkness, how the spirit overcomes the frailness of the human body, and the feeling of victory. Standing here in Jerusalem, in the middle of January in the state of Israel, it is difficult to imagine the freezing cold, bone-crunching cold in the city of Leningrad in January 1942. The survivors recall that it was the most bitter winter the city had known. And indeed, the first month of the blockade, the siege, was most catastrophic. After the food storage sites were bombed and the city was completely closed off for 4 months, after no supplies of food were able to arrive, no more medicines, then came winter. A northern winter, a brutal winter, with temperatures of minus 30 degrees centigrade, without heating, without food, without any chance of escape. The daily portion of bread, 250 grams for a parent, and even less for children, was not enough. The Nazi army waited for their spirit to break, for the city to surrender. But that was not their plan. That was not the plan of Mother Russia. There is no stronger link than the link of a mother and her sons. And there is no greater love than the love of a mother. Her sons and her daughters, the sons and daughters of Russia, fought on the front lines and in the homes and in the streets in a war of survival, day by day. It was the greatest spirit of patriotism that had ever and simply refused to be broken. On the 27th of January 1944, 76 years ago exactly, the siege was lifted. Perhaps it was no coincidence that the 27th of January, the day that the siege of Leningrad was lifted, is a date that we have in common, because on the 27th of January 1945, the soldiers of the Red Army liberated the Auschwitz extermination camp, and on this date, the whole world marks International Holocaust Remembrance Day. Ever since, the date has become full of pain and victory seared in our hearts and flesh. President Putin, you were born and grew up in the city of Leningrad. I saw the house where you were born. I saw the Jewish grandmother who took care of you from time to time. Your family survived the difficult siege. The spirit of bravery of the people of Leningrad will always be a legacy and a standing memorial to the city of its inhabitants. Here in the city of Israel, that date is synonymous with the Holocaust, in which 6 million of our nation, the Jews, were exterminated. This is a foundational event, an open wound, forever the greatest crisis that our people have known in modern times, which shaped us as a nation and a people. Today, on this special occasion, Mr. Mayor, we have the privilege to give respect to citizens of the Soviet Union and former citizens of the Soviet Union who are with us today, and the soldiers who fought on the Eastern Front. The State of Israel now is a home for the veterans of the Red Army, some of whom are joining us today and honoring us with their presence, and for many of the Jews of Russia and elsewhere in the former Soviet Union. The fight against Nazi Germany, against fascism, against racism, against anti-Semitism and hatred is our common prerogative. It shaped and continues to shape generations. Between our nations, Mr. President, there is an alliance of common fate and common destiny. We've had the privilege of standing together in the capital of the State of Israel in order to share a memorial to those who fell in that operation and salute the survivors. Together with us are new and old immigrants from the Soviet Union, veterans, and people who suffered in the flesh the atrocities of the age. This is another opportunity for us as the State of Israel, Mr. Prime Minister, to offer them and their families for your bravery, for your devotion to life, for your mighty resistance to the brutal oppressor. Thanks to you, and thanks to this memorial that we are inaugurating now, memory will continue to exist for years ahead in the hearts of the next generations. Welcome all.